Good morning, friends. In today's video, we'll discuss ICSE Environmental Science Class 10th most important question and answer from the chapter Towards a Sustainable Future. Now, question number 1. Define sustainable development with one example. Development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their own needs. Now there are the examples. First example is using recycled material or renewable sources when building or when construction. And second example is development without destroying the ecosystem or harming the environment. Second question is, what is meant by global interdependence? And the answer is, worldwide mutual dependence between countries is known as global interdependence. One nation depends on another for something, for example, the importing and exporting of products and services. Nations are mutually dependent on each other for economic development and are mutually responsible for the problems of environmental pollution and degradation. And example is oil and natural gas have created global interdependence between the major producing nations and those that do not have enough oil supply. Question number 3, write two consequences of ozone depletion. Consequences means results. The depletion of ozone layer means more harmful ultraviolet rays are reaching Earth's surface. Ultraviolet radiations cause aging of the skin, cataracts, skin cancer and sunburn, death of the phytoplanktons, aquatic animals, and which leads to the decrease in fish productivity. Excess exposure of ultraviolet rays may even cause mutation, that is a sudden change in genetic material, mutation in the genetic material of organisms. Next question is, write briefly on GEF, and the full form of GEF is Global Environmental Facility Support. GEF was established on the eve of the 1992 Rio Earth Summit to assist in the protection of the global environment and to promote sustainable development. GEF is a financial mechanism that provides grant or funds to developing countries for project covering 4 focal areas. Now there are 4 focal areas, as you can see: climate change, biodiversity, international water and ozone depletion. And other areas are chemicals, land degradation, sustainable forest management. And who funds the GEF? World Bank. GEF was established in October 1992 as a 1 billion pilot program with a partnership of 183 countries. Next question, mention any 2 ways by which NGOs can help conserve the environment. Now answer is, there are many ways, so you have to choose any 2 ways. First is stop degradation of the planet's natural resources. Second is ensure sustainable use of resources. Next is conserve biological diversity, then reduce, reuse and recycle, that is eco-friendly technology, followed by promote reduction of environmental pollution, then conserve wildlife and protect the world from climate change. Next question is, what is remote sensing satellite? Remote sensing satellite, that is acquiring of information from a distance, and sensors are a device that detect the change in the environment and respond to some output on the other system. A sensors convert a physical phenomena into an analog voltage or digital signal in human readable form. Now, remote sensing satellite is a device sent into space which use sensors to collect information about Earth's atmosphere, oceans, land and ice surfaces. They orbit. Orbit means they move around in a continuous or curving path. They orbit the Earth at varying altitude, that is a height of an object in relation to sea level or ground level. Now sensors mounted on the satellite, they gather electromagnetic energy, all the different kinds of energies related to space by stars such as the sun. So electromagnetic energy is a different kind of energy. It is released from stars and sun, which are reflected, emitted or back scattered from part of the Earth's atmosphere system below the satellite. Now, information is collected in two-dimensional form, either in the form of photographic image or as an array of digital data. So, information collected from a remote sensing satellite in two forms, either in a form of photographic image or in a form of digital data. Now, there is NRSC, that is National Remote Sensing Center, which is located in Hyderabad. Next question is, what are the advantages of remote sensing satellites, or why is remote sensing satellite such a good tool? And the answer is, so these are the advantages. First is data coverage in remote lands, ocean, ice area. Second advantage is homogeneity, that is the information collected in the form of consistent data. Next advantage is computer processing. Digital data is produced which is suitable for direct computer processing, and it used to save time and manual calculation. Next advantage is frequency of data collection for accuracy of information. Next is less time based, that is it cover a large area at high speed. And next is complementarily, that is removes the need of ground check at huge cost and time. And the next advantage is low cost, means that is this remote sensing satellite used to reduce time, cost of manual computing and cost of manpower. Next question is, discuss the applications of remote sensing satellite in the collection of environmental data. And these are the applications in deforestation, that is to study the rate of deforestation and compare the vegetative cover in the past with the present. Next is land degradation. Satellite images help in identifying degraded land. It is also possible to find out the causes of degradation from past images. Next application is in flood, used to map the flooded area and identify the flood prone area, that is a flood sensitive area. This area is very useful in order to take timely action to decrease the extent of damage to life and property. Next is drought. For assessment of drought conditions, studying rainfall and surface water condition for early drought warning and monitoring agricultural drought. Next is mining. Used to map active and abundant mines. It is used to regularly assess the ecological damage due to ongoing mining activities. And the next application is predict weather and natural calamities. In weather forecast, prediction of rainfall or monsoon possible because of the use of remote sensing satellite, prediction of cyclone, hurricane, and it also helpful in sending forewarning to the people residing in the danger zone. Next question is, describe any three ways by which international cooperation help in achieving a sustainable future. So three ways means we'll write the protocols or treaty, and the answer is sustainability improves the quality of our lives, protects our ecosystem and preserves natural resources for future generation. In order to achieve sustainable future with the help of international cooperation, many protocols or treaties given by United Nations time to time, and they are: first is Montreal Protocol, and the agenda of Montreal Protocol was the connection between ozone layer depletion and ultraviolet beta radiation. The Montreal Protocol is an international treaty designed to protect the ozone layer by phasing out the production of numerous substances that are responsible for ozone depletion, and it was signed on 16 September 1987 and was implemented on 1st January 1989, and the location was Montreal, Canada. Ozone depleting substances are CFC, chlorofluorocarbon, halogens, carbon tetrachloride and methyl chloroform. Now the second is Kyoto Treaty, which was meant to reduce the GHG, that is the greenhouse gases, and it was signed on 11 December 1997, implemented on 16 Feb 2005, and the location was Kyoto, Japan. Greenhouse gases are carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, water vapor, ozone. The Kyoto Protocol, created by United Nations in 1997 to combat the problem of greenhouse gases, the protocol focused on developed nations as being the primary source of carbon emission and exempted developing nations from the protocol's requirements. Now the next treaty is the Earth Summit to address the problems of environmental protection and socio-economic development. It was signed between June 3rd to June 14, 1992. Location was Rio de Janeiro, which is in Brazil. And this Earth Summit is also known as UN Conference on Environment and Development, Rio de Janeiro Earth Summit, the Rio Summit or the Rio Conference. And these are the achievements. Signed the Convention on Climate Change, that is UNFCCC, Convention on Biological Diversity, that is CBD, Agreement on Climate Change Convention, which in turn lead to Kyoto Protocol, UN Convention to Combat Desertification, Agenda 21, which is the action plan of the UN with regard to the sustainable development. And these are the key issues addressed during the Earth Summit. Alternative sources of energy to replace the use of fossil fuel, reliance on public transport system, and the growing scarcity of water. Next question is, name any two agreements of environmental protection at global level. So here is the answer: the Montreal Protocol, Earth Summit, United Nations International Conference on Population and Development, UNICPD, and the Kyoto Treaty. Next question, name any two NGOs that have helped in building a global network. WWF, that is a Worldwide Fund for Nature, PETA, People for Ethical Treatment of Animals, Greenpeace, Friends of the Earth. Next question is, there is a statement, environmental resources are put under great stress in order to achieve the objectives of economic development, and we have to explain this statement. Answer: global economic interdependence has grown extraordinarily as a consequence of enormous technological progress and policies. Economic growth means an increase in real output, that is GDP, gross domestic product. Therefore, with increased output and consumption, we are likely to see cost imposed on the environment. The environmental impact of economic growth includes the increased consumption of non-renewable resources, higher level of pollution, global warming, and the potential loss of environmental habitat. However, not all forms of economic growth cause damage to the environment. With the rising real incomes, individuals have a greater ability to devote resources to protecting our environment and mitigate the harmful effects of pollution. So, economic growth caused by improved technology can enable higher output with less pollution. Next question is, how can environment issues affect the economy? Natural resources are essential inputs for production in many sectors, while production and consumption also lead to pollution and other pressure on the environment. Poor environment quality in turn affect economic growth and well-being by lowering the quality and quantity of resources or due to health impacts. Now next chapter is environment and development. First question, what is debt trap? Debt trap is a situation where individuals are forced to take new loans in order to repay existing debt obligations. Debt trap is an incentive structure that attracts individuals into long-term debt obligations under conditions that strongly favor the lender. Debt trap is inability to repay credit amount. Second question is, state two reasons for the development of mutual cooperation between developed and developing countries. And the first is establishes, you have to write only two reasons, but there are four reasons. Establishes healthy channel for communication with other developing countries. Second is countries shall cooperate State two reasons for the development of mutual cooperation between developed and developing countries. First reason is establishes healthy channel for communication with other developing countries. Second is countries shall cooperate in spirit of global partnership to conserve, protect and restore the health and integrity of the earth ecosystem. Third is to promote a policy of goodwill and create good climate by which their common problems may successfully be resolved. And the next is the formation of scientific and technological policies and strategies are basic need and responsibilities of every country to achieving economic growth, management of natural resources, etc. That is the sustainable development. You can see the key points next to the answer. In answer here you can write, you can remember, you can memorize these key points. Next question is discuss any 5 ways by which multinational corporation cause environmental degradation in developing countries, and the answer is MNCs cut down trees from forest region and build manufacturing factories and lead to loss of biodiversity, that is a loss of natural habitat in of fauna and flora, use natural resources that get depleted and harm the environment. They drop their manufacturing by byproducts means the waste material into water bodies, thereby creating land and water pollution. They often promote harmful products for their commercial gain and overall damages the environment. They set up factories in developing nations as the cost of labor is cheap, and in the process of the further cost cutting subject these labors to inhuman conditions. Next question is name the MNC that was responsible for Bhopal gas tragedy. Name the gas was leaked. So Bhopal gas tragedy, it happened in the midnight of 2nd December 1984 and the place was Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh. The name of the MNC Union Carbide, which was the pesticide plant, and the gas leaked methyl isocyanate. In short, it is known as MIC. And the initial effects of exposure of MIC, that is the coughing, severe eye irritation, feeling of suffocation, breathlessness, burning in the respiratory tract, stomach pain, vomiting. It is considered to be the world's worst industrial disaster and it was expected that more than 8,000 people were killed. Next question is list any 2 benefits of MNCs that influences the growth of developing nations. And the answer is reduces gap between capital and labor, that is the job creation, reduces gap between demand and supply. Second benefit is reduces technological gap between developed and developing countries. Third benefit being bring employment to the local area, that is they provide better infrastructure, water resources, building, healthcare, etc. And they also improve the standard of living. Next question is list 2 conditions put forward by the government of developing countries to MNCs that should be fulfilled before entering into the market. And the answer is stake in the company. Stake means the amount of stock in a company, employment of the local workforce, good remuneration, that is the money paid for work, good remuneration to the workforce, use of local raw materials, compensation in case of accidents or death while on duty, economic and social stability. Economic means the financial stability, social stability means the life structure, better lifestyle. Next question is mention any 2 measures that can be taken to prevent disaster like Bhopal gas tragedy. First is regular inspection of the manufacturing plant or manufacturing factory, proper maintenance of the plant, safety inspection by the government body, proper training of the workers, looking after the employees' welfare and satisfying their needs. Next question is poverty is the cause of environmental degradation. Explain. Poverty is about not having enough money to meet basic needs including food, clothing and shelter. Environmental problem is caused because of increasing poverty and overpopulation, that is cutting of forests for fuel wood, the grazing of marginal lands, overuse of water resources, migration, etc. are all problems caused by poverty. Climate change threatens the cleanliness of air, depletes water resources and limits food supply. Air pollution is another way in which poverty contributes to environmental degradation because poor communities lack the proper knowledge when it comes to production techniques. Thus, the way in which they use resources to help them survive are harmful to the resources around them. Next question is, describe any 5 ways by which trade and aid can reduce inequalities between nations. And the first is, developed countries can contribute to the rapid process of the country through transfer of technology. So first is transfer of technology. Second is modern management, that is the developed countries can contribute to eradicate poverty of poor countries by promoting or providing modern management and by finance at low interest. Third is MNCs can help the needy countries to grow high yielding varieties, that is HYVs, high yielding breeds, and grow more food by supplying them fertilizers and pesticides and making the countries self-sufficient. Next is MNCs can help developing countries by increasing investment, income and employment and by finance at lower interest. Next is by organizing exchange programs, that is inviting students and teachers from universities and helping each other. Now next question is, define multinationals corporation, that is MNC. A MNC is a corporate organization that owns and controls the production of goods or services in at least one country other than its home country. Such companies have the offices or factories in different countries and usually have a centralized head office where they coordinate global management. The country where the headquarters is located is known as home country, and other countries where operational branches are located known as host countries. So role of MNC in globalization, in international relation and countries employment or economy or the world economy. Now examples of MNC, there are many MNCs but few examples are Nokia, Vodafone, IBM, Microsoft, Sony, Reebok, Ranbaxy. Next question is, define biomagnification. What are the substances responsible for biomagnification? Now biomagnification is the accumulation of toxic substances in the food chain. Toxic chemicals that are released in the environment are absorbed by lower organisms such as plants, earthworms, etc. And these chemicals are often transferred to different trophic levels when lower organisms are eaten by other organisms. And after that, substances responsible for biomagnification. So there is a list of substances responsible for biomagnification. Pesticides and chemicals, examples are DDT, mercury, lead, arsenic. Mining activities in the ocean to extract metals like zinc, aluminium, cobalt, silver, gold. And this mining activities produces selenium and sulfide. So you can see the flow chart of biomagnification. Biomagnification is the increase in the concentration of toxic substances at successive trophic level, that is the food chain, and the toxic substances can't be metabolized. They used to accumulate and they process on the next higher trophic level. This is known as biomagnification. I hope this video is useful to you, all of you. And these are the collection of previous year's papers. So you just go through the questions and answer. And till then, if you haven't subscribed this channel, please subscribe Amazing Bunny for more updates related to ICSE Environmental Science Semester 2 syllabus. Till then, happy learning. Bye bye.